We got the Houston Cougars, and I know Max has taken a little bit of a liking to this team, so I'm going to throw it to him first and see what Max has on this Houston team.
Yeah, so listen, I think Houston is a little bit of a dark horse. I kind of like what they're doing. They bring back a ton of starters. I think it was over 32,000 snaps that they bring back on this roster. You got Willie Fritz still at the helm at head coach, entering year 3. Year 3 is typically that point in college football where you're really getting your recruits in. Now I know NIL's changed that a lot, but it's getting recruits, it's getting your program built, it's getting your systems really ingrained in what everybody does there, getting used to it, etc. I think what he's done as a head coach, 7 conference championships, 8 10-win seasons. He turned around Tulane, he turned around Georgia Southern. Now he's turning around Houston. I look at the personnel and head coach and the coordinator spot, but then what they bring back, Connor Wegman, he was absolutely outstanding last year. 25 passing TDs, 11 rush TDs. He gives them some real stability at the QB position. Amari Thomas is one of the best wide receivers in the Big 12. They've got Shadre Hurst. He's one of the top guards in the country. And then not to mention Mekhi Hughes, who's the last 2 years has gone 1,300 or basically 1,400 yards both years. So, they just have talent everywhere. They've got experience everywhere, which I like even more. And that is something that I think in the Big 12 specifically, and we'll kind of talk about it with turnover in some of these lower tier teams, but the NIL portal and how much turnover Texas Tech has had for the better in some instances, but they still have to gel. They still have to get up to speed and have that cohesive aspect to it. You look at a team like Houston, they are the epitome of Big 12, shock the world on any given Saturday. QB wide receiver duo, they're probably top in the conference, I would say. And then they've got a lot of people on defense that are proven commodities. So when I look at Houston as a whole, what they bring back, it's experience, it's who they have at the helm. Willie Fritz knows ball. And I think they're going to be an absolute sleeper contender. Everyone's going to literally sleep on the Houston Cougars. I look at their schedule. They've got Texas Tech week 3 on a Friday night at Texas Tech. They get through that with a win, all of a sudden trajectory is up and to the right. Now, even if they lose, they go through the rest of their cake schedule until October 24th. They go to at Utah. Those are still games that they can win those games even though they're on the road, and all they really have to do is win one and then not fumble the rest, and they can still get to a Big 12 championship. So I just like Houston. They're kind of my sleeper pick, if you will. They're not one of the big 3, but I do think that they could come out and plus 16, plus 1,700. That's worth a little sprinkle.
Yeah. I don't need to repeat a lot of what you just said, but I'm there with you, man. I think Houston, like BYU, they're in the top 10 in Phil Steele's experience chart nationally in terms of what they have coming back. They have a ton of starts on their offensive line. I believe they're in the top 10 in number of career offensive line starts they have coming back. Now, some of that is transfer portal, and the offensive line needs to come together and gel and actually play together, prove that the individual pieces turn into a cohesive unit. The sum of the parts is as good as the parts themselves. They've got a true shutdown corner in Will James. They're strong on both lines of scrimmage. And Willie Fritz, I agree with you. He's a winner. The guy won at Tulane. He's winning here. Connor Wegman, has true, I think he started 10 to 15 games at Texas A&M before transferring here last year. So they're good to very good in all the most important places. 9-3 last year. They were 7-1 heading into their 9th game of the year. Lost a really weird game to a bad West Virginia team as a 12-point favorite at home, and then lost a tough one a couple weeks later to TCU on the road by a field goal. So they were probably a couple, plays here and there from potentially being 11-1 last year. Their only real loss being a pretty decisive one against Texas Tech. But, can they improve upon that and get to 10-2, 11-1 and put themselves firmly in the Big 12 title race come November. I think they can. Their schedule is out there with Utah and BYU. So yeah, give me Houston to be in the mix all day come November. I think they've got the pieces, and I think they've got the experience, and they've got the coach and the program stability now to not have a weird kind of West Virginia 12-point favorite loss at home again this year. I think they'll more steady and they'll be in the thick of things come November in the Big 12 title race. Ryan, what do you got on Houston?
I don't have too much to add. I really like Willie Fritz as a coach. I was trying to look at different angles on some of these teams. One thing I looked at that I thought was kind of interesting was they had the 20th highest percent of returning yards coming back on offense. So they obviously have a lot of continuity. They had no major transfers out. So something that they're doing there is they're bringing everyone back and everyone seems to be staying. It also surprised me that Houston didn't have any major transfers in. They had no 4-stars in, no 4-stars out. That was somewhat shocking to me just because I think Houston, I still think like big oil money. I don't know if they have the boosters that are necessarily backing that up. The one thing that stuck out to me, especially more than the top end of the Big 12, is they seem to be bringing back a lot, and they didn't seem to really lose anything to the transfer portal.
Yeah, good stuff.